My turn. It's your madam. Wow. Hello, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Pasok na po kayo, pasok na po kayo. Oh my God, kasi nakakaloka ang ating ikukwento today, and this is the story of two friends. Tawagin natin ang kwentong itong isang kaibigan. Charot. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing fine. You're doing great today. It's already the Saturday and it's the weekend. And tomorrow, of course, it's Sunday. Don't forget, please, of course, to go to church to pray with your family because the family that prays together stays together. Charot! Grabe, full of quotable quotes ang Saturday natin. But then, thank God for a very, very bright day today. It's a lovely Saturday. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just waiting for comments to come in kasi minsan talagang delayed itong aking ginagamit na software. I'm using StreamYard for my live streams. But then again nga, minsan nade-delay yung comments, so I'm not really able to see your comments agad-agad. I'm waiting for it. Of course, I'm still waiting for some of our viewers. So mag-shoutout muna tayo. Mag-shoutout muna tayo pagpasok ko ng comments kasi this is a very, very, very fun and interesting topic to talk about. As you can remember, the very first time that I went live here on YouTube, may diniscuss din ako sa inyo about dyan sa mga budol-budol na word na yan. And of course, to give you also a background where that came from, kasi if I am not mistaken, I am one of the very first, okay? I am one of the very first vloggers who used the term, who used the word budol years back, okay? Years back, para klaro lang, years back to actually call our good President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Sabi ko dati, ginamitan ko siya ng word na budol. And I remember so clearly the night that I wrote that write-up, which I also posted on my page. I remember so clearly because we were all there together, my friends and I. Kasama ko din si Mother Pebbles noon, may friends from politics and I. And we were talking about what's happening in the country because during the time, it was just the beginning of the administration of President Marcos. So medyo magulo pa talaga noon. And honestly, hindi din naman nila itatanggi to. There were a lot of changes that happened inside the administration, a lot of conflicts that transpired because this party wanted this wanted this. Yung isa pa, nagbenta ng posisyon sa gobyerno. Pagkaupo, pagkapanalo ni Pbbm, ang pinakauna niya talagang ginawa ay lagyan ng presyo ang mga posisyon sa gobyerno at ibenta ito sa mga interesadong tao. So, wag na natin siyang pangalanan, pero ang clue ay tumatakbo siyang senador ngayon. Wag na po natin siyang pangalanan, but ang clue ay tumatakbo siyang senador ngayon. Hindi nyo kaya.
Oh, shit!
Yes, oh shit talaga because ang dami din nilang nabudol, in fairness. Ang dami din nilang napaniwala, including me as a matter of fact. I also, for a while, believed in their cause, believed in them, only to realize that they're also fighting not because of the Philippines and the Filipinos, not for the better Philippines, but for the betterment of themselves, for the betterment of their interests and their future in politics. O, diba? Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, I was the very first one who used the word budol because as I wrote it, I was with friends, okay? Sige, yung isa kong kasama nun si Mother Pebbles and the other one, hindi ko nababanggitin kung sino yung kasama ko nun. But then, kilalang-kilala din siya. Kilalang vlogger din. Magkakasama kami that night because we wanted to go out drinking. Pero ang nangyari nun, nag-usap kami about what's happening, ano na ba talaga nangyayari, why the sudden changes, why the sudden change in tone. So parang kumbaga yung gist of that night, we were really confirming to ourselves na nabudol kami because we felt like we were made to believe this, and then nung nanalo na, something else happened. Iba naman pala talaga ang ginagawa ng gobyerno ni President Bongbong Marcos. And during the time, we really did not have any information, strong, solid information, except those, of course, that we were getting from the remnants of the Duterte administration. Paano ang remnants of the Duterte administration? Siyempre, yung mga info pa na galing sa mga nakaupo pa rin na tauhan ni Duterte who wanted something else for the Philippines, who wanted a different leader for the Philippines. Siyempre, they were scared at the time already na papalitan na sila because that's how it is. Diba? If you are an appointee, if your position is coterminous with the current administration, talaga namang pag may umupo ng bago, papalitan ka. Kasi that is an appointed position, di ba? That is a position of trust and confidence na ina-appoint ng ating mahal na Pangulo. So, hi! Ayan na, Esmelinda Sarandi watching from Singapore. Bumalik na si Madam sa tunay niyang tahanan. Sabi niya, Ekanis. Hello, hello! Wait lang guys, let me just edit this kasi alam niyo pala, nakaano yung ano ko, yung comments ko. Where do I edit this? Comments, ayan. On. Okay. Ayan. Para pumasok lahat ng comments nyo, bumalik na daw si Madam Ellie sa tunay niyang tahanan. Thank you. Yes, and that is indeed very true. So going back to that night, sabi ko nga sa inyo, all the information we had back then was coming from the informants of the Duterte administration, pa yung mga natitira pang hindi napapalitan ng mga tauhan ng Duterte administration, and they really wanted something else apart from accepting President Bongbong Marcos as their newly and duly elected president. And nung pinag-uusapan namin to, talaga mapapaniwala ka, mako-convince ka talaga, ay oo nga. Grabe naman pala talaga ang ginagawa ng Marcos admin. Nung nanalo, iba na pala talaga. Iba ng mga pinagagawa nila. And your mind and judgment would be very clouded because nga, talagang may basis ang kanilang, talagang may basis ang kanilang mga sinasabi, talagang very convincing, most especially doon sa part ng West Philippine Sea, our dispute with China over the West Philippine Sea territory, yung Kalayaan Island Group. And yung isa nga doon sa amin, parang naiyak-iyak pa because nabudol siya, naniwala siyang ganito, ganon. But only to find out that it's gonna be a different thing, it will yield a different outcome. And at that time, I was so emotional, I was so driven by the emotions that I had. Because as you all know, I'm also a very staunch supporter of the current administration. As a matter of fact, there were only a few of us na nakilala during the campaign period. Even if I joined only on May 3, 6 days before the election, I officially joined the campaign of Pbbm on May 3, 6 days before the election. I pretty much also have this sense already that I've helped in the campaign. And I've helped in a way na talagang bukas sa loob ko, na talagang binigay ko ang lahat-lahat para masiguradong manalo din si PBBM. And I also felt na parang nabudol nga because I don't have any better term for it that time, dati to na parang nabudol. But then, yun nga, being as emotional as I am, being the emotional Filipino that I am, bigla naman ako napapost. Nagsulat ako ng napakahaba. And that was the first time I remember that I used the word budol. And I was one of the very first few, if I'm not the first, probably I'm part of the very first vloggers na gumamit ng term na budol. Kasi as far as I can remember, akin talaga yung word na budol na yun. And then I just posted it. And then when I posted it, the word budol started coming. So parang it started pouring, everybody was using the word budol already. May chance po ba na ma-reconcile sila VP Sara at BBBM? I don't think so. Later I will show you. I don't think so. I don't think ma-reconcile pa sila because masyado na malalim ang nangyayari, masyado na mahaba ang panahon. But then again, this is politics, guys, eh. 'Di ba? We really never know. Friendship here is like the relationship that people share in politics are very transactional. Friendship is very transactional. And you have to accept the fact na ganun talaga siya sa politika. 'Di ba? You cannot expect them to be enemies forever. Kasi sa politika, there is no permanent friends, there is no permanent enemy. It always changes. And that is politics, my friend. Philippine politics. So, ayon, hello, Shayan Patrice, good morning, Pinas. Actually, it's already 12:47 here. Yonch Aldaba, Madam Ellie, what is your reaction hearing Garma's confession? Tonight, we will talk about Garma. But for now, ito muna yung topic ko, yung budol-budol na word na yan. I'm doing this because these are the things that I think that I contributed a lot on. I contributed in spreading the word budol to describe this administration. Of course, with the influence of several friends that I have, which until now, by the way, are still my friends, okay? I'm into the topic of politics, but again, yung mga kaibigan natin, kaibigan ko pa rin. Personal na friends kami. Though we share different opinions, mga magkakaibigan kami. For example, si Mike Cervera, ako, even if naging solid BBM pa rin si Mike, ako naging Duterte for a while, we still communicated. As in, magkaibigan pa rin kami. So, this is something that you have to learn how to separate. Yung totoong pagkakaibigan sa totoong buhay at yung yung differences nyo sa mga opinion nyo sa mga bagay-bagay, particularly in politics. So, unang-una sa lahat, hindi naman ako politiko, hindi din naman politiko si Mike. As vloggers, we are not politicians. We are simply conveyors of messages, diba? We are simply supporters as well, just like you are. We are not politicians, so we are still your regular dudes, your regular gals, that we still share friendship with people, not the transactional kind that politicians have with one another. Kami talaga, pag may kaibigan kami, kaibigan talaga ang turing namin. Miss Imelda Kurokawa, hi Madam Ellie, watching here from Japan. Happy to be back. That's the best thing you can do. That's nice. Thank you. Salamat, Miss Imelda Kurokawa from Japan. Hello, Hoshea. Ayan, magbabasa muna tayo ng comments. Hoshea Ocampo, good afternoon. Guys, if you can please subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell so that every time I schedule something to go live or to stream, you will be notified agad-agad. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Pa 7 a.m. pa lang daw sa Europe. Listening mode habang gumagawa ng breakfast muna. Thank you, Miss Shayan. So, ayan na yung kwento ko. Hindi ko na natapos. Nung gabing yun, nung sinulat ko ngayon, parang I was very sure na nabudol talaga ako, naloko talaga ako. Until na nandun na nga ako sa kabilang camp. The next thing we knew, kami na yung opposition. The next thing we knew, yung mga kakamping na dating kaaway talaga ni PBBM, naging kakampi na. Diba? Hindi na sila kakamping, naging kakampi na sila ng administrasyong ito. And so that, in that way, we were really very sure na nabudol kami. Oh my God, niloko ata kami. Lumaban kami ng eleksyon, tapos, nung nanalo si PBBM, bigla niya naging kakampi na yung media. Biglang kakampi niya na yung mga kakamping. You never heard anything from the kakampings anymore. Diba? Right after BBM won, after a few months, the kakampings were so quiet. Wala talaga. Ni ha, ni ho. Wala talaga kang maririnig na pagsasalita or pag-oppose mula sa kanila. They were like really supporters of the current administration. The very people na kinalaban natin ng eleksyon because grabe yung pambabastos nila, pambababoy, grabe yung pag-educate nila sa atin, they were the ones who were very quiet. Di ba? Parang wala na tayong narinig. Anong nangyari? Ba't wala na sila? Ba't hindi na, we were expecting them to be part of the opposition. Pero oh my God, wala na silang sinabi. Diba? Wala silang comment, wala silang bad news, wala silang anything. Rappler was so quiet to the point that Maria Ressa even praised the administration of PBBM after she won her cases. Diba? After she won her cases that were filed against her during the Duterte administration. So, anong nangyari? So, baka nga totoong nabudol kami. So, those were the things going on in our minds. Those were the things in our minds at that time. And we were really convinced na, ay, hindi, ginago tayo nito. Parang nagamit tayo nito, nabudol tayo nito. And that was the conviction that we had in our hearts. And that is very true. And I'm sharing this with you now because dito ako nanggaling. Doon ako nanggaling sa pakiramdam na yon. But then only to find out that there are operations in place even before the campaign period. There were operations in place already to make us feel that way, diba? To make us think otherwise. The very president that we supported during election times is also the very president that was the subject of these attacks. Diba? These attacks were not made public. These attacks were very quiet. They were very silent, but they were very deadly also. These attacks were targeted to begin with us, influencers. To begin with us, yung mga vloggers. So they really stirred up our emotions so that our judgment would be clouded in such a way na talagang makakonvince kami na kalaban. Pinanalo namin ang kalaban. Hi, Totoy Mola! Good afternoon. And so, ito na nga. So, let's go now to this part kasi this will also validate my very first video when I went live here. Yung pamagat ng video na yon, yung bumalik na kami kay PBBM, ayaw na namin ng linis-linisan. And this video, this interview, the most recent one that BBM had, will give or will shed light to all the things that I mentioned there. Okay? So panoorin natin na sabay-sabay ang ating mahal na Pangulo, the 17th President of the Republic of the Philippines, Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.
I'm a little dismayed to hear that she doesn't think that we are friends.
Okay, dun muna tayo. O, diba? Very strong statement coming from the president. I'm a little dismayed that she doesn't think of us as friends. Kumbaga, kasi tinanong siya dito ng reporter, ano po ang masasabi niyo sa relasyon niyo ni VP Sara Duterte? Diba? And it was like, I'm very dismayed. Sobrang dismayado ako. That she does not think of me as a friend. Diba? Hindi niya, nagulat siya. He wasn't really prepared for anything. He wasn't really prepared for what's coming. Lalo na yung galing pa kay Vice President Inday Sara Duterte. Di ba may interview si Inday Sara na sinabi niya, hindi ko naman talaga siya kaibigan eh. Yung kaibigan ko si Amy Marcos. Remember that interview ni VP Inday Sara? Hindi naman talaga kami magkaibigan eh. Yung kaibigan ko si Senator Amy Marcos. Matagal na talaga kami magkaibigan. I'm not sure if you've seen that interview. If you still remember that interview. When you're on the other side, sabi ni Beef Joy, I did not read anything you posted kasi magagalit lang ako. When you came back, okay lang kasi hindi nga ako nagalit. That's the thing, Beef Joy. That's the thing. That's how I am to people. Every time I write something, people would really, have a strong opinion about anything or everything that I post or write. That's why, kada post ko na lang talaga malaking issue. Pag aling talaga kay Madam Ellie, malaking issue na lang talaga, nakakaloka. Diba? And now, I did the very first live video. Ngayon, kumakalat ako sa TikTok. Oh, shit! Oh, shit talaga. Kumakalat ako sa TikTok. And I don't want to anymore see the videos posted about me on TikTok. circulating on TikTok. Well, majority of them, of course, they are happy. They're celebrating that I went back. And of course, kinakat-cut nila yung mga sinabi ko doon. But then some, syempre, ayoko na lang basahin. Nakakaloka talaga. Kasi ito ay mga pasabog! Ganon. So anyway, going back to our topic, yung yung kay yung statement ni PBBM. So if you remember, yun nga may interview si VP Inday Sara na sinabi niya na hindi ko naman talaga yung kaibigan eh. Hindi ko naman talaga yung kaibigan. Si Senator Amy naman talaga ang kaibigan ko, hindi siya.
Oh, shit!
Remember that? So, ito yung ngayon, dito nang gagaling ngayon ang ating mahal na Pangulo na hindi ko naman talaga yung kaibigan. And he's just very dismayed. He is dismayed, dismayado siya because he always thought in his heart and in his mind, he really thought that Inday was a friend. VP Sara was a friend. Diba? Kaibigan talaga. Not even in politics. Because at that time, talagang naging close sila nung eleksyon. Naging close sila nung mga rallies. And they were really there for one another, respecting each other as a unit team. He was very true to his promise, to his words, that the unit team will stand strong and it will stand still. Probably, he really never expected nang una pang bibitaw, nang una pang sasaksak sa kanya patalikod, ay ang kanyang vice-presidente. The very person he trusted whenever he leaves the country, the very person he trusts the Philippines with, the very person he always appoints as OIC, every time he leaves the Philippines for investment, for investor relations abroad, yun pa ang unang ng traidor or sumaksak sa kanya ng patalikod. Hi, Steph D from San Diego, California. So, yun, I'm very dismayed. Tingnan niyo pa ang sinabi ng ating Pangulo.
I always thought that we were.
I always thought that we were. Diba? I've been telling you, even during election times, how good of a man PBBM is. And no matter, regardless of who you ask inside Malacanang, regardless of who you ask na personal friends with PBBM, even si Mother Pebbles is not a political friend. He is a personal friend. Magkakasama talaga yan sila ni PBBM and Liza sa Japan every time they travel. Kasi si Mother Pebbles, di ba, based yan sa Japan before. No matter who you ask, kahit sino pa yung makasalubong mo dyan who is close with the president or not even the president before he even became president, may masasabi talaga nila na mabait si PBBM. Even those na nasa posisyon dati tapos tinanggal, pinalitan, hindi na nasa posisyon ngayon, tapos ngayon nasa kabilang parlor na, even if you ask them, because I tried asking them, can you describe to me what kind of person PBBM is? So every time I ask them, kahit nasa kabilang parlor sila, kahit mga opposing team sila, di ba? They would always tell you na mabait naman yan, mabait naman talaga si PBBM. The way they know the man, mabait naman talaga. And I think it speaks volumes as well because the way he treated VP Sara, kung nakita nyo naman dun sa mga interactions nila, sa mga interviews nila together before, and even in events that they were together, you would see how they would interact with one another and you can really feel the warmth between them, di ba? Talagang it was very warm. It was, alam mo talaga, magkaibigan to, mag-BFF talaga to. As in talagang partners in crime sila. Di ba? Yung mga simple gestures nila, they just understand each other with their simple gestures. They just easily get one another without many words. Mararamdaman mo, makikita mo sa body language na they were pretty comfortable with each other because they were really friends. Kaya nga sabi ni BBBM, I always thought we were. Diba? I always thought we were. Akala ko talaga magkaibigan kami. And not even for a second that he thought na hindi sila magkaibigan. That's why he was very dismayed because this happened. Na biglang, ano nangyari? I thought we were friends and now you're attacking me. You left the administration and are not anymore part of this administration. You declared war on me against my administration. And why can't you, kumbaga, kung ako si PBBM, ano ba? Ano ba minamadali mo? Can't you just wait? Diba? Hindi ka ba makapag-antay? Miss Jocelyn Soriano. Parang natanong mo na to, Miss Jocelyn Soriano. Bakit kayo bumaliktad kayo dati kay PBBM? Ay, no, I answered this already a while ago, Miss Jocelyn. I answered this a while ago already. Yun nga, bumaliktad kami because we were so, we had a mix-up of emotions. And hindi lang siya mix-up of emotions eh. But our information were coming from those who were seated, pero panahon pa nila, kumbaga mga appointees pa ni Digong. And medyo, di ba, syempre, appointees sila ni Digong, hindi pa sila napapalitan, they were still in power at the early days of the BBM administration. So medyo maniniwala ka talaga because they're very, kumbaga their position makes them a credible person. Diba? Parang you feel like, they know better because they're inside and they know what's happening inside. But then yun nga pala, yun na yun, part na pala yun ng plano. Okay, moving forward. Oo nga, Miss Jocelyn, sorry. Hindi ko lang naintindihan yung tanong mo when I read it. Hindi ko agad naintindihan. So anyway, moving forward, I always thought we were, nagulat nga si PBBM. And, eto, tuloy natin yung video. Maganda yung sinabi niya kasi. Maganda talaga ng sinabi niya sa interview.
But maybe I was deceived.
Ano nga ulit yun? Pakinggan yung ano mabuti.
But maybe I was deceived.
O, ulitin natin.
But maybe I was deceived.
Ulitin natin. Ulitin natin, guys!
But maybe I was deceived. But maybe I was deceived.
Pakitagalog. Pakitagalog, but maybe I was deceived. Nako. Pakitagalog.
Oh, shit!
Oh, shit! Oh my God, what does that mean? But maybe I was deceived. Pakitagalog. Maybe I was deceived. Ang gandang gawing ringtone. Parang ang ganda-gandang gawing ringtone.
But maybe I was deceived.
Oh.
But maybe I was deceived. But maybe I was deceived. But maybe I was deceived. But maybe I was deceived.
But maybe I was deceived. Diba? Nabudol. Tagalogin na natin. Nabudol. Maybe I was deceived. Ulit-ulitin. Maybe I was deceived. Why did he feel that as well? Na parang na-deceive siya. Bakit parang nabudol din siya? Why? Diba? The big question here is why? And I will go back to my story when I, a few moments ago, when I started this live. I will go back to that kasi I've been through that as well. Yung parang feeling mo na budol ka. Because you trusted someone so much, you trusted someone this much. Pero yung sa akin, fake budol yun eh. Fake na yun eh. Because I was just deceived by the kabilang parlor. Pero ito yung kay BBM kasi, first-hand experience. As in talagang siya mismo, yung binudol. Pinaniwala siyang kaibigan siya. Pinaniwala siya na he will always have her support. He will always have VP Inday Sara's back in everything that they will do because they started this together. They started this dream together for a bagong Pilipinas, for a better Philippines. Diba? Maybe I was deceived. Yung pagsabi niya ng maybe I was deceived instead of I was deceived shows na may grace pa rin siya and ayaw niya mag-assume unlike yung iba assuming masyado. Yes. Maybe is a better word, diba, to use instead of I. Diba? Because I was deceived, really, sure na siyang nabudol siya. But then he's still giving the benefit of the doubt. He still has his doors open. Kasi baka lang naman. Alam nyo, yung mga taong kagaya ni PBBM, kagaya ni VP Inday, they're very busy people and they're surrounded with a lot of advisors. They're very busy people. They're surrounded with a lot of advisors. And they really cannot focus on individual problems. So they cannot really focus on this and that alone. They have so much problems to think about because they're running the country. They're the president of the Philippines and the vice president of the Philippines. And every day, there are a lot of issues on their table. There are a lot on their plate. And without their advisors, without their secretaries, syempre, hindi kakayanin yun. Guys, walang may kaya yun. Hindi nila kakayanin ang problema ng bansa kung isa-isahin nila. That's why they need their secretaries, their advisors. That's why there are appointees. Appointees are a position of trust and confidence. The trust and confidence that is coming from the president. Because he is delegating some of his job or part of his job to you, knowing that kaya mo siyang i-deliver, kaya mo siyang i-execute. So the appointees are a position of trust and confidence. So they also serve as advisors, the very source of information about the administration. That's why talaga kung may isa dyan na naggago, may isa dyan na parang sumalungat sa mga utos ng nakakataas ng Malacanang, sinusunggal. And that's normal. Because if you are not anymore aligned with the vision of the president and with whatever that he plans to do in order to execute and perform his obligations, his duties, as he promised, kung hindi ka na aligned doon, syempre tatanggalin ka na. Diba? Bakit niya papahirapan yung sarili niya? Hindi mo na nga siya gusto, hindi mo na bet ang mga mga plano niya. And the way he does things. Ba't ka pa niya i-retain dyan? Syempre tatanggalin ka, susunggalin ka. Because again, your position is an appointed position and that is a position of trust and confidence. Diba? And so, ang nangyari dito sa maybe I was deceived niya.
I was deceived. I always thought that we were, but maybe I was deceived.
I always thought that we were, but maybe I was deceived. He is very, very conscientious with his statements, particularly referring to BP Inday Sara. Ayaw niya naman sabihin na I was deceived. Niloko mo ko. Ayaw na ganun. Hindi niya naman sinabi, niloko mo ko. Manluloko ka. Binudol mo ako, budolero ka. Hindi ganun yung atake niya. So, ang atake niya parang, hindi ako sure eh. I'm just dismayed, but I'm really not sure. Niloko ba ako? Talaga ba niloko ako? Ay, hindi ko sure eh. Pero feeling ko niloko ako eh. Yung parang ganun lang si Pbbm. Ganun lang siya because that matter is also very personal to him. And I'm pretty sure that he also doesn't want to get himself in a situation na hindi niya na mababawi ang kanyang mga salita or ang kanyang mga sinabi. Because maybe, baka hindi naman talaga sila nagbudulan parehas. Maybe it's because their advisor said so. Maybe yung nag-aaway talaga yung mga advisors nila. Hindi niya alam. Maybe yung nag-aaway talaga mga tao nila. Hindi nagkakaintindihan, hindi nagkakagustuhan. Maybe hindi talaga sila yung may problemang dalawa. Maybe someday magiging okay pa sila. That's why, very conscientious. And he just simply said that maybe I was deceived because he's not really sure and he doesn't want to be sure about it. Because that's a very, very serious and heavy matter. Diba? Very, very seryoso talaga yung bigat niya. Mabigat talaga siya na akusasyon. That's why he's very conscientious and he's very careful with his words. And that's the trait of a Marcos. That's the trait of a real Marcos. Diba? They don't make everything about them. Hindi nila pinapersonal, hindi ito tungkol sa akin. I'm here to serve the people. I'm here to perform my duties, my obligations, to perform whatever is expected of me by the 31 million voters who voted me, who wanted me to be president. And this is not personal. Ito ay trabaho ko at gagawin ko ang trabaho ko. That's why kung makikita nyo si Pbbm, no matter how many issues yung iba to sa kanya, even during election times, binababoy na ang pamilya nila. Binababoy na ang pamilya nila, ang pamilyang Marcos. But we did not hear anything from him. Anything bad, anything negative. We did not hear anything from him. Hindi siya rumesbak, hindi siya yung parang kanto lang yung labanan na pag nagsigawan, may kipagsigawan din sa inyo, di ba? Hindi siya yung squawka level na pag, hoy, tangina mo. Sasagot siyang, tangina mo rin. Di ba? Wala siyang ganon. Wala siyang ganon. Hindi ganon ang ating presidente. Nakakaloka. He's very prim and proper. He's very far from his predecessor. Ibang-iba kasi si Tatay Diggs, talagang, di ba? He's very studious. He's a very good statesman and someone who really commands respect and admiration from his people. He's very smart and intelligent, and he exudes that aura of very well respected and a successful man, diba? His stature doesn't need words anymore. Diba? Yung mere presence niya, ganun siya. And sabi nga ni Imelda sa isang interview, you are there, you are the president, you are the first lady, so that people can look up to you. Diba? Ngayon, kung bastos ka din, kung bastos kang presidente, matabil din ang bibig mo, bastos yung bunganga mo, di paano ka pa, diba? Paano ka pa kikisamahan ng mga tao? Parang feeling nila magkaka-level lang kayo. Parang shot na lang dyan sa kanto, diba? But then from time to time, we also need balance. We also need to be reminded that we are governed and we are guided by someone who is capable enough to bring the country forward, to push the country forward, to push the Filipinos towards a better future. Diba? So, nakakatuwa because he's very statesmanly, yung presidente natin. He doesn't really take everything personally. It's not about him. Diba? Hindi niya prioridad ang sarili niya, hindi niya prioridad ang mga kagustuhan niya o mga interest niya, pero prioritize niya talaga ang importante, and that is being of service to the Filipino people. Sabi ni Totoy Mola, kapag binura mo si Pbbm, sasagutin ka lang noon na okay. Mas nakakaasar yun. What did you feel when Sarah attended the Pbbm, resigned, Maisugral? Did you feel then it's not right or blinded ka pa rin? At that time, I was already, di ba? Di ba yung kwento ko, Miss Beef Joy, I was already contemplating. I was already trying to look within myself, to evaluate myself, my facts, my principles, and my values. So, ano nangyari? Biglang nasa Maisog to. And then that Maisog rally, because of my curiosity, I attended one Maisog rally as well. Doon ko nga, di ba, yung kwento ko na nagulat ako. Pag-attend ko ng Maisog rally, I really thought na rally yon for the Filipinos. Tapos yung pinagsisigaw doon, justice for Kibuloy. Tapos may prayer meeting pa doon, nagsayaw-sayaw pa yung KOJC. Of course, I'm Catholic, I cannot relate to how they do their prayers, how they do their worship. But ang weird, kasi yung prayer rally nila talaga, nagsayaw-sayaw doon, and then everything was about KOJC, everything was about Kibuloy, and a small portion of that rally is about Vic Rodriguez, about Harry Roque, diba? About Lenchong. So, ano nangyayari? What are we fighting for? Are we fighting for dahil kayo yung mga speakers dyan, ay may tampo sa gobyerno? Yun ba pinaglalaban namin? Yun ba yung pagtatanggol namin? Yung mga tampo nyo? Diba? Ano ba yung paglalaban namin? Ha? Ano ba? Paglalaban ba namin yung tampo nyo kasi hindi kayo nabigyan ng posisyon or natanggal kayo sa posisyon? Yun ba yung gusto nyo paglaban namin? So those are the things that I really did not understand during the Maisog rally, and I wanted to understand it. I really wanted to go deeper to the real problem that we are facing, the real problem that we are trying to address, the solution that we are trying to find. Pero bakit ganun? It always ends up in impeaching the president. Why would we want to impeach the president? And when we impeach the president, who do we want to be president? Sinday Sara? Ha? Sinday Sara?
Oh, shit!
We want Inday Sara to be president? Ganun? Siya? Aminin nyo. Siya, di ba? Di ba? Tapos paulit-ulit at pabalik-balik ang mga speech na, well, if you attend different rallies, they say the same thing. Paulit-ulit talaga. Paulit-ulit talaga. Sabi ni Anthony's, pansinin mo man nasa sign ni PBM, never magsasalita ng hindi maganda, napilitan lang mag-bad words dahil nakikipagsagutan sa mga DDS comments. Again, di ba? Again. Sabi ni Fe Infante, magkano ang binayad sa inyo, ha? Alam nyo, Fe, this issue is long gone. Alam mo, kahit naman nandun ako sa DDS, tinawag niyo akong bayaran. Nandito ako kay Pbbm ulit, I went back, tinawag niyo akong bayaran. For sure, if sumama ako kay Lenny, tatawagin niyo pa rin akong bayaran. And why would I need money? Diba? Ilan ba negosyo ko? 3. Anong kailangan ko sa pera na yan? Hindi ko talaga. And why would PBBM pay? Bakit siya magbabayad? Presidente na siya. Hoy, huwag kayong tanga. Ba't naman siya magbabayad pa sa mga vloggers kung presidente na siya? Nasa posisyon na siya, para saan? Di ba, Fe? Kung hindi ka ba naman pinanganak na tanga, kung ilang beses ka ata inere ng nanay mo, imagine, presidente ka na, tapos magbabayad ka ng vloggers, para saan? Di ba? Yun na lang yung logic. Simple logic na lang. Para saan siya magbabayad ng vloggers? Para saan? Eh, siya na yung presidente. Eh, hindi nga siya tinatablan ng mga issues eh. Di ba? Hindi nga tumatalab yung mga issues. Ang tumatalab na issues, doon sa kabila, yung mga EJK, extrajudicial killings, Pogo, yun yung tumatalab na issue. Kasi yun yung totoo, lahat documented. O yung kay BBM naman, lahat haka-haka, wala naman documentation. Mag-isip, isip, gamit ng utak. Marunong ka na mag-Facebook, marunong ka na manood ng YouTube, marunong ka na mag-operate ng cellphone mo. I guess it wouldn't be too much for you also to learn how to understand things. Kasi mahirap yung nag-social media ka na walang laman utak mo, hindi mo naiintindihan mga bagay-bagay, tapos bigla ka magko-comment dahil marunong ka mag-type. Mahirap yan, Fe. Ha? Isa lang ang pinatunayan ng admin na sa right track ang admin kahit anong totoong opposition sumasaludo sa president. Can you imagine even Risa Ontiveros na pa-standing ovation siya sa zona ni PBBM? Yes, even the opposition. Because that's how it is. That's how it should be. Ha? That's how it should be. We should support each other for the sake of the Filipino, for the sake of our children. Well, hindi mo magkakanak, but for the sake of your children. O, diba? Okay na? For the sake of your children and your children's future. That's how you fight for the Filipinos. That's how you fight for the country, di ba? Hindi yung parang ganito, hindi yung...
That we were. But maybe I was deceived. Friends,
Laban.
I always thought that we were. But maybe I was deceived.
Oh, shit! But maybe I was deceived. Hindi ganyan. That's how unity should work. And that is something that is very difficult to understand because at that time, si PBBM lang nakakaintindi ng true meaning of unity. Siya lang nasa puso niya lang yung true meaning of unity while Inday Sara was waiting for something else. Okay, saan ba dito nagsimula? You know the confidential fund na ini-issue nila kay VP Inday Sara ngayon? Sa totoo lang, at that time when VP Inday requested for the confidential fund, by PBBM's good grace, he also wanted to support the programs of VP Inday. That's why, yung Office of the President na may access sa confidential fund na yon, nag-transfer din naman ng pera sa opisina ni VP Inday through, if I'm not mistaken, DepEd. So, yung confidential funds, binigyan din naman ng go signal ni PBBM because he was very, very keen as well on supporting the programs of the Vice President. Okay, yun naman talaga yung confidential fund na yun. Budget naman talaga ng Office of the President yun. Nung nanghingi si VP Inday noon, binigay talaga ni PBBM because again, at that time, PBBM wanted to give Inday Sara everything that she wanted. Diba? Hindi pa ba yun sapat na patunay na totoong kaibigan ng ating presidente? Hindi pa ba yun sapat na patunay na at that time, when the confidential fund was requested by VP Inday Sara Duterte, PBBM willingly gave it to her to support her projects for the government. Sige nga. Hindi pa ba yon sapat na patunay na talagang totoo siya sa kanyang pinangako kay VP Inday na magtutulungan sila as a team? That when she requested for confidential funds, insigida, binigyan siya ng 125 million pesos? Hindi niya alam yun na. Ngayon alam niya na. Ngayon alam niya na kung bakit siya may confidential funds. Because PBBM supported her 101%. that she also has her own programs for the Philippines as vice president, and that she deserves also a budget. Kasi diba, alam nyo, yung Office of the Vice President galing kay VP Lenny. Nung naupo naman sila PBBM, di pa budget period. Siyempre, whatever budget that VP Lenny has, yung natira doon, yun lang yung meron si VP Inday. Di ba? And you know naman, walang budget si VP Lenny. Masyadong budget yung opisina ni VP Lenny when she was Vice President. So when VP Inday came, wala kang budget, but she wanted this project, she wanted also several platforms to be implemented, na parang mga programs niya naman for the Philippines. And so, ayun, sinuportahan siya ni PBBM. Right then and there. Right then and there, she was given her funds. That's how true PBBM was to his promise na they will work together as a team. They will work together as the unity. But
We were. But maybe I was deceived.
But ano, ulitin nga natin. Nakakatuwa naman to. But
maybe I was deceived.
Type nyo nga ano sabi ni PBBM. Type nyo nga. Ulitin natin for one last time.
But maybe I was deceived.
Oh, shit! Ano? Pasabog yan Pasabog yan. Okay, true. Sabi ni Sumayat 1970. True, tama yan. Okay. Then, sabi ni Shea Patri, sa House, unang budget deliberation, pinatigil ni Sandro. Pero ganun ang ginawa nila. I am so heartbroken. Kasi I love Marcos so much. Pero iboto pa din natin si Marcoleta kahit antay. Alam mo si Marcoleta, he's not really that... Si Marcoleta, hindi naman talaga antay yun. If you remember, he was part of the BBM slate. Diba? He was part of the unity team. It's just so happened na hindi sila nagkakaintindihan because Marcoleta is he's a seasoned lawyer. Matalino. May utak. And yung iba naman nating congressman doon, working sa Congress, kasi syempre, iba namang usapan yun sa Kongreso. That's an entirely different topic. And they have a different God there. Iba yung Diyos nila doon. Hindi lang siya nag-agree sa paraan ng pagtatanong nila Congressman Paduano and all that. And yun lang naman yung naging debate nila. Because according to tradition of Congress, kumbaga binibigyan talaga ng parliamentary courtesy ang Office of the Vice President. Ever since yan, kahit sino pa yung presidente, binibigyan talaga siya ng parliamentary courtesy. But at that time talaga, they were so keen on na busisiin ang ang budget ng Vice President for confidential funds. Okay? And you know why? Huwag kayong magtiwala dyan sa Makabayan Block na yan, ha? Diba, nagmumukha silang huwag kayong magtiwala dyan sa Makabayan Block na yan kasi sila din yan, may yan sila. May sarili yan silang mga agenda. Yan sila Raul Manuel, Franz Castro. Wag. Ha? Though they look like, they're trying to look like that they're one with us, they're one with our calls, they're one with our voices, but they're not. Huwag kayong magtiwala dyan. Ha? Yung pinaglaban lang talaga ni Kong Marcoleta noon was the tradition. Yung tradition of extending parliamentary courtesy to the Vice President. He's not anti-BBM. Yung ibang tao kasi ang OA, anti-BBM agad. Marcoleta is part of the BBM admin's slate. Ang OA lang talaga ng ibang tao. Diba? He was really fighting for the tradition. Yun lang naman, tradition in Congress. Oh, okay na. Guy, tradition over accountability not for me. Because there's a proper, it's not accountability. They're not in the proper form, okay? Para maintindihan nyo kung bakit nangyari yun sa Kongreso, yung gulong yun. Because they're not in the proper form. They're not in the proper place to do that. Because if they really wanted an investigation to ensue, if they really wanted to file cases against Vice President Inday Sara Duterte, they could have done better. Kasi lang ang gusto nila mangyari, trial by publicity, kasi gusto nilang silain yung image ni Inday Sara. Okay? I'm not defending Inday Sara, pero ang sinasabi ko, mali din naman yung move ng mga congressman. Kung talagang may bigat yung accusation nila that it was misused, they could have filed a case sa ombudsman or sa proper courts, di ba? Hindi doon. Kasi doon wala silang power over it. Remember, the confidential funds is protected by the rules and regulations, the rules and procedures as well as dictated or as penned by Congress. Sila din naman yung gumawa ng mga rules and regulation sa paggamit ng confidential fund and even sa pag-disclose ng information. Diba, Congress din mismo yung gumawa ng batas, ng ano na yan, ng rules and procedures na yan. So, the tradition has to stand because iba po ang tradition sa Kongreso. If it does not stand, magkakagulo-gulo, magkakaroon po ng kaguluhan in the future as well. Kung pati pala yung, yung tradition sa Congress na yan, who has the power of the purse, would also be compromised na hindi na pala sundin. Okay? So, those are things that we need to understand. There are several things that we do not understand. If they wanted accountability, they could have, forwarded the case to the proper body. Gets mo na? Okay? Hindi siya it's not about tradition versus accountability. It's more than that. It's not about that at all. Okay? Kung pinaliwanag lang niya, edi tapos, ano ba masama doon? Pinakomplika pa kasi niya. Well, again, it's a different case. Hindi siya ganon. Because kung pinaliwanag niya naman yon, siya naman yung malalagot. Siya naman yung may kaso. Gets niyo? Siya naman yung kakasuhan because confidential funds nga it's guided by the rules and procedures that Congress themselves drafted. So, okay, it's more than that. What I'm trying to say is that Congressman Marcoleta, kasi nabanggit nga ni Shay Ann Patrice, just wanted to defend the tradition. Kasi lang, people wanted to look like, they wanted to paint Marcoleta like against PBBM. Diba? Kumontra siya because he wanted to fight for the tradition of Congress by the Congress, kasi lang, pinagbukas ang kalaban ng administrasyon agad-agad. Okay, sige, fine. Go. So, ayun. So, going back to our topic, watching from Oman, JB Vlog, loyalist forever. I cannot say that I'm a loyalist. Okay. Kasi, isa ding debate yan during election times. Hindi ka pwedeng loyalista kung bata ka pa. Kasi ang mga loyalista, na yun, naranasan nila yung Marcos Sr. administration. Di ba? Sila yung mga loyalista. If you did not experience, kung hindi ka pa buhay naman and then you call yourself loyalist, maybe in the future Marcoses, pwede ka na loyalista kasi naging loyal ka kay PBBM ngayon. But then that's a debate that happened also during election kasi may mga loyalistang magugulo. May mga loyalista pong bastos ngayon na nagva-vlog. Nagkaroon sila ng platform to do vlogging, pero bastos sila. Kaya imagine, hindi ko nag-gets kung paano nila natawag yung sarili nilang mga loyalista, pero mga bastos sila. And you never see that on PBBM. You never feel that kay PBBM na bastos ang isang loyalista. But then unfortunately, there are Marcos administration vloggers who are very bastos. And I just can't. Diba? You cannot represent the Marcos administration if you talk like that. Na yung mga bastos kasi talaga. And nakita nyo naman, di ba? The moment that we came back, nung sumabog sa social media na bumalik kami, may mga mangilang-ilang vloggers talaga yung Marcos admin na bastos yung bibig, bastos yung bunganga. Diba? Unfortunately, hindi natin makokontrol, hindi din natin masasala. Okay, in legislative, okay, sabi ni Shay Patrice, we need opposing bodies kasi check and balance. Kahit magsuntukan pa sila dyan, basta ang outcome ay maging maganda, diba? Yes, hello. Hello, si Subiring at Cayetano magsusuntukan. Diba? Nainggit sila doon kay Marcoleta at Paduano sa Congress. Sabi lang, hindi pwede. Dapat sa Senado din may ganung eksena. So ngayon, si Subiring naman at si Cayetano, go tayo naman magsuntukan. Ay! Perfect! Ay! Perfect ang lower house and upper house! Para sila may representatives. Charot! Charot! Para sila may representatives sa suntukan. Tapos magugulat, kaya hindi nagsuntukan, nagsabunutan, no? Hala! Hala, hindi sila nagsundo ko ng sabunutan. Nagkrompala. Ay! Ay, anyway. Charot-charot lang yun. It makes sense, kaya nga confidential. Pag sinabi niya ako sa ginastos pa na ginastos, hindi na confidential. Tama, totoo mo lang, di ba? But the very word itself, confidential, wag kayong maano sa confidential fund because it exists. Ano yan? Confidential and Intelligence Fund. Okay? Confidential and Intelligence Fund. Yun po yung buo niyang pangalan. Kasi lang syempre sa media, confidential fund. So maraming na-allergy sa confidential fund. But it's confidential and intelligence fund. And yes, it's legal. It's constitutional. And who has powers over that? Si Congress, meron sila. The Office of the President, meron sila. Kaya nga, yung confidential fund ni VP Inday was just, kumbaga, a fund coming from the Office of the President. And going back, at that time, when they won, when the Unity won, when VP Sara and Pbbm won the elections, Pbbm, at that time, really wanted to give VP Sara everything. Talagang kung anong pinag-usapan nila, binibigay niya talaga kay VP Sara. Also to support her programs and to support her platforms para sa Pilipinas. Kaya nga naman, binigyan siya ng pondo ni PBBM coming from the Office of the President through the Confidential and Intelligence Fund. But
maybe I was deceived.
Narinig niyo yun. But again, ano? But ano again, sabi niya?
I was deceived. That we were.
Ano yung pasabog? Narinig niyo ba? Ano daw? Madam Ellie, lagi ka na masaya, di ka na lagi galit. Kapag nasa tama ka, masaya talaga. Yes, masaya talaga. Masayang masaya. I'm really happy and thankful that kumbaga the stars aligned for me. Kung anong pinaglaban natin ng eleksyon, nag-align siya because this is the first time. If not, this is the first time na yung sinuportahan natin, kumbaga yung sinuportahan natin to win, actually won, but then we are still supporting him. Kasi ang nangyayari sa Pilipino lagi, sinuportahan mo, naging presidente, tapos pag hindi ka aya-ayang nangyari sa buhay mo, isisisi mo sa presidente. Diba ganun ang Pilipino? And I just want that to change because our government is not our enemy. We should make them our allies. Tayo po ang pinagsisilbihan ng gobyerno natin. That's why it's not also proper for us to praise and praise and praise. Hindi man pwedeng puros-puri tayo sa gobyerno natin. Diba? When we had a meeting with people from the palace, nung bumalik na kami, yun yung sabi, wag nyo namang support. Parang tanga naman yung support. If there is something wrong, edi call them out as well. Diba? Kung mali ang ginagawa, edi call them out as well. Hindi pwedeng support. Ano pa rin tayong mga zombies na dito? Para tayong mga, alam mo yung blind supporters. Ang daw, sabi ni Mark Mendoza, flinag na ng COA at may items na hindi naman daw considered as confidential. No, that's not true. So, that's not true, Mark. You watch the news again. Hindi siya flinag ng COA. Ang flinag ng COA, yung notice of disallowance lang. And I'm saying this not to defend the other camp, but I'm saying this for your information. I'm saying this so that you know also your facts, okay? Thank you, Zeke Ron Hernandez. Madam, buti balik ka na sa political vlog mo. Manood ako lagi siya dahil magaling ka magbaliwanag. Thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate that. Akala nyo madali magsalita-salita dito. Hindi, nakakatuyo siya na lalamunan. But thank you. Because of you, I will continue doing this because, you get entertained as well. And you get to interact with me. We get to discuss a lot of things as well. So anyway, let's go back to the topic. So, confidential fund na yan, which was supposed to be used for the programs and the platform of VP Inday Sara, na binigay sa kanya ni PBBM, ano ba ang nangyari? Ano ba ang nangyari? All the while, they really thought that it will be used for the programs and platforms, but it was also used for something else. Tama po ang paggamit ng confidential fund. Okay, tama naman yung paggamit. And COA did not flag anything because tama naman yung paggamit. They only issued notice of disallowances again because there were lacking documents. Kumbaga, may mga documents pero kulang ng signatories. Mga ganun lang naman yung reason for the notice of disallowance. Okay, the notice of disallowance, just so you get also to have a better understanding of it, the notice of disallowance by the Commission on Audit doesn't necessarily mean na the funds were misappropriated or the funds were misused. It simply means that they are lacking documents, there are documents na kinulang ng signatory, or may mga documents dyan na malabo, hindi siya clear, yung pagka-photocopy. So the COA issues notice of disallowance. And usually the office who got the notice of disallowance from COA will have 60 days to respond or 60 days to comply with the notice of disallowance of COA. As a matter of fact, yung notice of disallowance ni VP Sara, when it came out, 90% of government offices also received a notice of disallowance from COA. So hindi lang sila, lahat din naman naka-receive, almost lahat. And it's normal because that's COA procedure. Kumbaga, kanila yan yun yung process ng COA. Ang delikado dyan, kung meron ng notice of final decision. Okay, may notice of disallowance ka, then you were asked to submit in 60 days, pero nung nag-submit ka, hindi pa rin na-satisfy, meron kang notice of final decision, meaning, it's either, yung notice of final decision, it's either you return the fund, or an administrative case will be filed against you or against your office. Diba? Ganun lang naman yun. But the notice of disallowance is very normal sa government. Sa COA lalo. They always issue that because of several documentation requirements lang nagkulang. Unfortunately, for the confidential funds, dito nga sila magaling. Kaya nasabi ni PBBM, maybe I was deceived. Kasi, yun pala yung confidential funds. Yung confidential funds, guys! Yung confidential funds, part of it pala. Though it was used the right way, it was used properly, pero it was also used properly for other matters. Juicy. So, ano ba ibig sabihin nun? It was also used for ang chika. Okay, chismis lang to Ang chika, it was also used for early campaigning. Yung i-organize. Ay! Oh my God! Ayoko na talaga. Ayoko na. Basta yun na yun. Yung chika. Chismis ka lang. Chismis lang kasi. I'm not saying this is verified. I'm not saying this is true. Chismis lang to na nasagap namin while we were there. Na, ito si, ito si, ayoko na. Ayoko yung chika. But it was used for, okay, alam niyo na yon. How does a political party begin, di ba? They get organized! Sinabi ko yung word, they get organized! Oh my God! So it was used properly, appropriately, but again, ano siya, parang hitting two birds in one stone. So, ayun. So, dun siya talaga nahuli, nabisto. Because of course, pag gagawa ka ng ganon, hindi mo pwedeng gawing sekreto yon. If you're mobilizing, if you're aiming for something, hindi mo pwedeng hindi makarating yun kay Pangulo, di ba, kay PBBM, or to any of his allies, to any of his advisors. Kasi malalaman nila yan. Most especially, that the platforms and programs of VP Inday also, through the VP satellite offices, paano ba? Nagkaroon siya ng, yung programs and platforms niya, nagkaroon siya ng, hindi mga conflict, but, nagkaroon siya ng overlap with the existing programs and projects of the administration already. Di ba? So, nagkaroon siya ng overlap because, kunwari, yung mga medical assistance, burial, and all those, there's already an existing program in government from the DSWD na that is meant to do that. But, unfortunately nga, sa DSWD, aminin na din naman natin, di ba? aminin na din naman na natin na hindi naman ganun kadali manghingi ng assistance sa kanila. Whereas, sa mga satellite offices ni VP Sara, through his confidential fund provided and given by the president himself, President Bongbong Marcos, mas naging madali yung proseso. Mas madali kasi manghingi ng assistance sa Office of the Vice President. So that's where some of the funds went, and of course the others went to something else. And yun na nga yung binabanggit ko. But anyway, as you can all see, it's up to you now. I leave it up all to you now kung sino yung sa tingin nyo na budol. Because for me, it was very clear from the words of our president that he was really dismayed. He's really dismayed because maybe he think he was deceived. Di ba? Baka talagang na-deceive siya. Hindi niya man sinasabing na talagang na-deceive siya, but he's also giving it the benefit of the doubt. Baka nga, nabudol siya, naloko siya. Kasi when he trusted VP Inday Sara so much with a confidential fund, ano pa lang yun panimula pa lang yun. When he trusted him with a confidential fund, ginamit din naman pala for something else. For plans that will destabilize his government, that will put at risk the presidency, and that will diminish all their efforts, the efforts that they worked on during election times. So anyway, I leave it up all to you guys to think about it, to really look deep into yourselves, kung ano ba talaga ang nangyari, because politics is a game, and it's a dirty game, and you have to have a better and clearer understanding of the different strategies and tactics employed by different parties in order for them to forward their agenda, in order for them to forward their causes. And sometimes, unfortunately, those causes are very personal. It's self-serving. It's not really for the Filipino or the Philippines. It's very self-serving. The fact that they really wanted to impeach PBBM and they really had plans to do that, to impeach PBBM, only shows na nabuking ng mas maaga ang kanilang mga plano. Nabuking ng mas maaga ang kanilang mga eksena. That's why everything just failed. Everything failed. Yun yung ICC ngayon. President PBBM, the President Marcos was very, very sure about it that he doesn't want ICC to come in because we have a functioning and we have our own judicial system that is functional and that is effective. There is no problem with our judicial system, so there's no need for the International Criminal Court to come in. But because of what they're doing, because of the activities that they are doing, of course, some of the allies of PBBM would also want to retaliate. It's not PBBM himself, kaya naguguluhan kayo. Minsan may interview siya, no. Sabi niya, no, hindi talaga papasok yung ICC. Then the next thing you know, yung mga kasapi or mga kaalyado ni PBBM in Congress or the secretaries would say otherwise na hindi, yung ICC nandito na. But then that's a developing story for now, and I think that we will have to see more of that. But of course, it's something that the allies would do to protect also the president. Kasi nga, there is mobilization. There is something that is happening that aims to impeach PBBM. And that should not happen. That cannot happen. And that is something that we have to look out for. Okay? Anyway, it's already 1:45 p.m. Oras sa Pilipinas, 1:45. Taray!
Oh, shit!
Charot lang. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be back later, probably at 12 midnight later for another topic. Pag-usapan naman natin si Garma. But then, right now, I just want you to think about yung word na budol, and I would really like to apologize to a lot of you because I used that word before to describe the administration. But tingnan nyo naman ako. I went back, I came home, and I've never been this happy na bumalik ako. That's why I can talk to you, look at you in your straight in your eyes and tell you that I am happy to be back. And this is something that we have to work hard for. Our future and the future of our children. The future of a better Philippines. Kaya supportahan natin po ang gobyerno at pangalagaan po natin ang ating bayan. Huwag po tayong away na parang wala nang mangyayaring maganda sa Pilipinas dahil mas lalo po tayong nahihirapan. Kaya ayun, ang panawagan ko before I end this live, maraming salamat. And please, love your friends. Love your enemies. At huwag niyong hayaan na kayo ay mabudol. Huwag niyong hayaan na masabi niyo someday na maybe I was deceived. Isa pa nga, gusto ko na miss ko. Oh my God. Okay na yun. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye, everybody.